Der nächste Vortrag ist auf Englisch. Neben mir steht sie schon, Sarah Popp-Stefanov von ASMODEE. Sie ist Director of Strategy Innovation und es geht um die Research Access Plus Spiele, die seht ihr da auch schon. Es geht um integratives und also accessible Games. Dazu erzählt sie euch jetzt, was das alles ist. Welcome to stage and have fun.
Can you hear me? Okay. So I'm very happy to be here with you today, and it's with a great pleasure that I'm going to present you the Access Plus initiative and studio. Essen is very special to ASMODEE's calendar, as you might have seen by our presence in the fair, and especially the Spiels Educators Day is very important to us. We have been presenting initiatives towards inclusivity and education for several years now, and it's very important for us to be close to the educators community. So, nice to meet you. As you can see, I am not Sarah Favaron. Unfortunately, she couldn't be here today. She's the head of the studio. She has impressive credentials, and of course, feel free to reach out to her at the end of the show. You will have her contact at the end of the presentation. I am another Sarah, as you heard before, Sarah Popp-Stefanov. I'm the Strategy and Innovation Director for ASMODEE. And even though I'm not leading this project, I've known it from the very beginning. I did because for ASMODEE, it's a very strategic initiative because it's an answer to one of our very important motto, which is having one game for every player. And that's the most important thing here. So a quick look at the company. I'm sure you know ASMODEE already, and if you don't, just take a walk into the fair. I think that you cannot miss one of our games or our studio, and feel free to talk with our colleagues. They will be thrilled to talk to you about their passion. So we have a very wide catalog of board games, of big hits, big board games, very impactful for our communities. And the reason why ASMODEE create novelties every year is that everybody can have a board game to play, whatever their situation. Whether you want to play over a drink, whether you want to play with your family, or whether you want to gather with your friends for 3 straight days of playing games. So we do create games, but more than that, we also distribute them all over the world. We have huge teams of passionate people who know closely their players to deliver them the best game that will fit them. And it's important to understand that each geography has its own specificity. So I'm here to talk today about Access Plus, who was launched in 2022 in France. Since then, we have opened 10 countries. And the reason why we're talking about it today is that we're celebrating at Essen Spiel the opening of the distribution in Germany. So, great news, everything I'm going to talk to you about is going to be available here. So ASMODEE definitely is present on the market. And since we are here, and it's our responsibility to be present for everyone, to think about everyone. And this responsibility was the spark for creating Access Plus. We know that there is still a long way to go. And with Access Plus, ASMODEE is willing to give access to playing to people who don't easily have it. And we all have a role to play in this. You, the educators, the caregivers, you are the gateway and the door openers for people that would gain so much more for playing in their everyday lives. So for this, thank you very much. So the idea of Access Plus was created with the will to provide accessible and adapted board games to people with cognitive disorders. We know that board games already enable to enhance cognitive work, and we wanted to have a dedicated focus on these specific needs. This is why we created a dedicated studio on that. It's the first one of its kind. So to give you a bit of context, ASMODEE have been hosting PhD theses for several years now. The aim for these theses is to support research and knowledge development around the following question: how can board games be good for society? And Access Plus took its roots in one of its studies in 2018, led by the professor Philip Roberts. He studied how adapted board games could be beneficial for Alzheimer's patients. His team and ASMODEE teams created prototypes that were adaptation of ASMODEE games, with bigger cards, with dedicated explanations to learn easily the rules, and they measured the impact of these adapted games on behavior, on happiness, on interaction with each other. And of course, the results were very positive. The players had a memorable experience. They were looking to playing it again. The feedbacks were both great from the patients, but also the caregivers. And that was the beginning of everything. An actor as ASMODEE had to take the lead to initiate something for this part of the community. We know that there is a big amount of people in the world that are affected by cognitive troubles. 38% of the population, it's huge. Look at the person next to you. One of you is probably affected by a cognitive trouble. So, is it a niche? No. Do we talk enough about it? Certainly not. But is it meaningful? Is it impactful? Yes. So we have established this studio to ensure that purpose. And we did not do it on our own. We worked with actors from the scientific healthcare system to make sure that what we developed is in line with the healthcare needs. So now we have developed 4 games that are complementary and based on our catalog so far to provide the solution to everybody. It's important for ASMODEE as a company. It's important for our employees, for our partners, for everyone. So to give you a feeling, a purpose of that, I will show you a short video that represents all the commitments from ASMODEE behind this project. I don't know if it's working.
Convinced that games are more than just fun and that they can have a positive impact in social, clinical, and other settings, the team at ASMODEE has developed the Access Plus Studio, which offers a range of accessible games adapted to every ability.
Le studio a été créé en 2022 pour adresser une nouvelle gamme de jeux à un public souvent oublié. On a voulu adapter des jeux du catalogue ASMODEE. pour les rendre accessibles aux personnes présentant des troubles cognitifs.
By creating adapted games that are accessible to vulnerable people, their family, and healthcare professionals, Access Plus's fresh take on board games makes them more inclusive.
La réalisation d'un jeu Access Plus diffère de la réalisation d'un jeu traditionnel. Le développement d'un jeu Access Plus prend à peu près 1 an, sachant qu'on part d'un jeu qui existe déjà et d'une mécanique qui a été éprouvée. Donc c'est très long, mais il faut s'adapter à toutes les spécificités nécessaires pour les patients.
The primary focus of the games within the Access Plus range is having fun. They spark positive emotions and foster social connection, stimulate specific cognitive functions, and improve patients' quality of life. To develop this range, the team at Access Plus collaborated with healthcare professionals and drew upon their expertise. They also refer to studies carried out with caregivers, patients, and nursing staff to ensure the games produce genuine benefits.
En tant que clinicien ou en tant que chercheur, j'ai une force d'impact limitée, alors qu'une société comme ASMODEE permettra à ces recherches qu'on a essayé de mettre en place d'atteindre le grand public. Et quand on est médecin, c'est vraiment la chose la plus importante.
Avec le jeu, on va leur offrir à nouveau un espace finalement d'autonomie, de liberté, de créativité, un espace où ils vont se sentir capables d'agir seuls, qui est finalement propre à un épanouissement personnel pour eux.
Access Plus, games for every ability.
I love this video. It's so important for us. So Access Plus is for everybody. It's for kids, it's for adults, it's for elderly people, whatever the reason of the cognitive disorders. Any kind of disease, any kind of development issue, we want to provide a game that are adapted for this audience. And quite important too, the games are also really enjoyable when you don't have any cognitive disorders, so everybody can play together. So now, where to find these games? The idea here was to make sure that the games would be easy to find. So you can find them in traditional retail, like online or in hobby shops. But you can also find them in dedicated networks, like drugstores, hospitals, caregiver networks. The idea here is that ASMODEE wants to put this game everywhere people need them. Hence the importance of Access Plus launch in Germany today. So feel free to go to the Access Plus booth, meet the teams, and they will give you all the information you need on where to find them easily. So as I was telling you, we're not doing this on our own. We're doing this with a scientific committee, and we want to have it worldwide. As much as possible, we have people from different countries so that we have a large view of the adaptations that are needed for people with cognitive disabilities. So they help us create the prototypes. So you know, I'm not an Access Plus team member. I'm from corporate at ASMODEE, and I want to tell you today that Access Plus is not a business initiative. Access Plus is much more a call for caring. We want to care about our communities, and this is why we want to provide one game for every player. But it's also a call for caregivers. Most of our benefits are given back to associations that matters in every country. Like in France, it's UNAFAM. It's an association that will support the caregivers of people with cognitive disabilities. It's very important to us to be able to give that back to the people who are like you, who are helping everyone to feel good about playing. We also do care about the planet. Access Plus is committed at a system-level process. We are producing our games as green as possible. So we are trying here to have a full commitment for the community, for the caregivers, and for the planet. So you know almost everything about why we did Access Plus, why we launched the studio, the reason, and its history. And so now maybe we can talk about the games. So how to play these games? Well, it's quite easy, in fact. And you take the box. You take a seat, you open your box, you read the rules or you watch the video, and you just play. I mean, there is no additional material. There is no specific setup. You just enjoy the games like any other games. And what matters here is just to have a good time. So the product line. As I told you today, the range is made of 4 board games that are complementary. I'm sure that you already know the original games, which are Double Spotted, Timeline, Cortex, and Dixit. So each game have been analyzed to know what type of cognitive functions are solicited during the game. They have been selected to be able to provide a different solution, a different experience to the player, and to be very complementary once again. All the rules have been selected to be very easy to learn, easy to explain, and in the rule book, you will have recommendations made by the experts that are working with us. They are giving you clues on how board games is very useful and on how to play this kind of games with the specific audience. Also, all the Access Plus range was developed to be playable in healthcare environment. So everything is washable. You'll find easily what an Access Plus game is compared to the traditional games, the original games that we have. It's always the same boxes, the same colors. It's easy to know where you have to make the difference between an original double and an Access Plus one. So now I will give you a bit more information about each game. So the first one is Double Spotted. I don't know if you know the game. It's a game where you need to recognize the icons on each card. And here the main adaptation that has been made is that we have bigger cards. And we have selected icons to be very easy to recognize. We have 3 different levels, from easy to hard, so that you can level the way of difficulty depending on the patient patient evolution and his skills. On each box, you will find this spider graph explaining the different cognitive stimulations that you can find with these games, so that it's easy for you, if you know what you want to work on, to choose the games you will play with. So you will find it at the bottom of the box for every Access Plus game. The next game is Timeline. It's a game about chronology and how to put different events in the right order. For that games, the cards have been selected to be easy to play for all generations. Once again, the cards have been made bigger. They are tarot-sized to assure better handling. We have also added, we can see here, a timeline, a physical timeline for the players, because it's easy for them to put the cards in a chronological way. Something very specific that has been developed with timeline and based on the healthcare and caregiver feedbacks is that we have created a personal event deck. It could be your first house, it can be your first school, your first love, big injury, a big event in your life. And this deck is very meaningful because the patient can play with his own experiences. If they have something, they have a big memory. So it's a good way for them to be able to express their history and to talk with their caregivers, their doctors, and their relatives. The next game is called Cortex. It's quite similar to the Cortex that is already existing. Cortex is the game of small challenges that is already stimulating wide cognitive functions. So we also have tactile cards so that we can play with different senses. Here, once again, we have bigger cards and very selected challenges to work on specific cognitive functions. And the last, but not the least, is Dixit. If you want a bit of history, Dixit was one of the first games we thought about to develop the range. But it was a very, very long work to develop it, so it's just a novelty right now. It took us 2 years to develop. Dixit is already used in the healthcare environment, in psychology, especially just the cards by themselves, because people can talk around them. And we were able to add more accessibility in the game thanks to the work with the experts. Like we have a board to be able to set the cards. You have some tokens to vote to ease the gameplay by itself. And you also have a cooperative mode with dedicated rules and materials to ease the gaming. So this is it for me today. I was very happy to introduce you to the range and to the great studio that is working on it. I'm very happy to deliver this message on ASMODEE's purpose on the behalf of Access Plus team. So if you have a question, I'll try my best to answer. And there is also a booth where you can discover the games, you can ask many questions, and you can discover the different adaptations that have been made. So thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Sarah. We have some time for questions. Please feel free to ask questions. If you don't dare, wenn ihr euch nicht traut, sie in Englisch zu stellen, wir können die auch gerne übersetzen. Also falls jemand Angst hat, Englisch zu sprechen, können wir die auch. We can translate the questions in German. So, any questions? Over there.
Thank you. First, merci for the great presentation. I'm a professional educator working in a daycare center, so I thought, do you want to maybe put some icons there? I think daycare centers, kindergartens, creches would be also a nice place for them to be accessible. Because even if kids in kindergarten are not analyzed, categorized, sorry, by psychologists, it would be good for them. Also, I like that you scaled up the quality. So that would be my, I think that would be a good addition.
Okay, yes, and you know, we are looking a lot to work with the educational system. We want to put these products everywhere it can be useful. You're right. Double is already really great for kids. I have a 2 and 4 years old, and they love it. But enabling this progressivity level is great for any kind of cognitive work. So at every stage of life, you're right.
So, gibt es noch weitere Fragen? Ja.
Well, there are like 2 questions. One is related with this speech about put it everywhere in schools. So how are you supposed to do that? Because schools normally don't have fundings to pay games. And if you focus only on the schools that can play games, then you will only be in the private schools, so not in the full sector of education. So I think here is not maybe when you say access and include everyone, it's not really about everyone, it's just who can pay about it. So there is a big range of society that don't have or is in poverty. So to pay a game is no way. We will pay food, no games. So where is this part of the speech? And the second question is if this is for like people with disabilities or cognitive disabilities, I'm not sure if it really includes like neurodivergent people. For example, speaking, all of the games you show is sometimes speaking, interact socially, and one thing that is very difficult for neurodivergent people is interact, and normally they don't want. But it's important to include them, and I guess with the game maybe they will feel forced somehow. So these are my 2 questions. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So these games, there's range of games, is a tool for caregivers to support people with cognitive disabilities. It's not intended to one specific developmental issue, because we didn't want to focus on one specific disease. It's a wider tool, so it can be used, but it's not going to answer everything. It's a gateway for the caregiver to work with the patient, and some games will be the right ones, some games won't. And the idea here is to make people have fun, and because they have fun, they will work on their cognitive functions, but we're not going to force them into anything they wouldn't like to do. On your second questions, so we want to open to any kind of network. First, it will depend on the countries, because you know that the educational system is not the same in every country, so it's very specific. This is why we have our commercial teams that are very localized and that they know their country. And what they do is that they are going to present the solution, and yes, you're right, it will be accessible for people who will buy the games. And yes, there is a cost to that. There is also a lot of work that is made with associations, so that we can help them and have the games available for as much people as possible. But yes, we cannot be given for free for everyone, because if not, we don't have enough money to develop them.
Maybe it would be a great idea to make like a fund, so that you can like try to get a funding from ASMODEE, like sponsorship. That would be great.
I'll talk to the team about that.
Hi, I'm an educator, teacher in England. I work with secondary special needs kids. And I've been using Dixit with my 15, 16-year-old students for the last year to develop. About 80% of them are autistic. about 20% of them are complex needs, autistic and ADHD or something else. I've been using Dixit to develop their language skills, and it's been quite a battle to get them engaged, but once they're engaged, they really are. But by far the biggest battle has been the being an advocate for these games and pushing it with my senior leadership team, getting them to appreciate the importance of gaming in school and those social skills. I'd just like to say I absolutely love the cognitive map on the back, because that is going to really help my battle with the SLT team. I can really say this is what they will develop through this. But I have also historically had a bit of an issue with ordering ASMODEE products in the UK, particularly very recently when I found out about the Access Plus. It's not been available.
Okay.
So is it now available? Obviously Brexit. Yeah, but is it now available in the UK? How easy is it going for me to be able to get these 4 games in the UK?
I think that the UK is in the list of the 10 countries that are open. But just ask the question to the people in the booth to make sure that they are, and if they are not, in English language we also open Canada, so we have the products in English language, so you can find them at some point.
Can I stand up? Hello. My name is Draco. I'm a biology teacher in Brazil and I live in Germany. And I'm a social worker now, and I work in school as a school companion and specialize in autism. And it's very nice what you presented. It's for sure, games are great. We all agree here. Now, educators that know games know how powerful they can be. And it's nice that there is some preoccupation in increasing accessibility of the ASMODEE line through games, but it's a little bit, there's a discrepancy in the discourse when you speak about focus on accessibility, because the main issue in accessibility, especially worldwide, where is the scope ASMODEE operates, is money. Now, most people, like outside Europe, a lot of people, they won't ever be able to buy any of those games, and they could be made accessible or more accessible financially. For example, part of profits can be offered to people that can buy them, and people that can't get them for free. That's not, it's a simple logistic thing. So I think would be more like maybe a better speech to say we are interested in expanding the market for ASMODEE line into accessibility parts of the market so that more people can play. But if you really want to do something that focuses on disabilities and social challenges and something like that, you have to invite the community to, like, for example, a lot of people that are neurodiverse, they could provide better solutions or better games or initiatives or connect with others to actually contribute to this mission, but they just don't because they can't overcome sometimes the hurdles of developing a game by themselves, and they could if they had some support. For example, you could talk with other companies, you know, to make a group effort.
Could you please ask a question? And
well, the question is if that interests you in the slightest, I guess.
Yes, okay, heard, and you're right, that's very interesting. We are not working alone on this. We're also talking with other companies. The objective is not to expand ASMODEE board games only. It's to expand the board games that are already great for cognitive functions. So yes, it's the very beginning of the adventure. It's only been 2 years, and yes, we need to do much more development in this area. We are also working with the different ministers to make sure that it can be more easily accessible for people that cannot afford the games, like the healthcare ministry of this kind of partners that we have to make sure that we can provide the games to as much people as possible in need.
Thank you. So you have more time, like around half an hour, you said. You can meet Sarah right around the corner, like outside of this room. If you go to the right, there's a table, and you will be there for more questions, more discussions, and you can find the time there. So thank you very much for being here.
Thank you very much.